For the girls on the North Star basketball team, Monday night means practice. And in this gym full of kids, there's one story that's both heartbreaking and uplifting. The story of 17-year-old Emily Linneman.
I thought it would be fun, and I tried it, and it ended up being one of the sports I was better at.
Emily started playing basketball at a very young age, but in 2012, she was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, a type of bone cancer that cost her her left leg. Eventually, it came back in her other leg, her lungs, and then...
She was getting pain in her hip. She had it for a couple weeks and was afraid to tell me. Then we went and got checked, and it's in her hip, and this one's inoperable. And there's not much they can do about it. So we're praying for a miracle.
It's why she needed to play basketball again.
I can't even do a layup, so that was really good.
And why she inspires her teammates.
When they want to quit or they don't want to do things, they try a little bit harder just because she's there.
Now, Emily really enjoyed practicing with the girls, but she never expected to play in a game. But the coaches said, if you practice with the team, you play with the team. And so Wednesday night at Valley Park, Emily played her very first game as a North Star.
I know that the other team will notice that I'm not like every other girl.
They may have noticed, but you couldn't tell. At halftime, Emily was given t-shirts and balls signed by college teams from around the country.
Face up!
And she scored.
There it is! Yeah!
Twice.
Rebound!
Any basket made or missed after that didn't matter much. Who won the game? Well, that will eventually be forgotten. But Emily's 4 points won't be. Steve Harris, News 4. 'Twas 3 weeks before Christmas, and in my email, ugly Christmas sweaters was my assigned tale. Right away, St. Nicholas jumped in my head. Not this one, but this guy, Nick Zervos, instead. A coworker known for his odd-looking sweaters. When it comes to bad taste, no one is better. So I went to his house with Nog and a log.
Oh, you brought a Yule log.
Not a log. I don't have a log. But you have a dog. So I sat for an hour while he modeled his wares. The sweaters were bad. They were ugly and heinous. Like clothing you'd find on Mars or...
Wait,
I said.
If I gotta wear an ugly Christmas sweater, that's the one I want.
And of all the sweaters that Nicholas owned, this was his favorite. So I took it home. But it actually smelled of beef and of cheese. So I gave it a wash and a dry, if you please.
You killed it.
Everything I touch gets ruined.
So away to my closet I flew very quickly, but all that I found was a rod full of Dickies.
Dickies.
And that's when I woke up.
No!
It was all a bad dream. Nick will harbor no grudge. But a glance in the mirror, and I said...
Oh, fudge.
What he said.
Have a holly jolly Christmas.
Steve Harris, News 4. You just witnessed the most important touchdown of the Junior Falcons' entire season.
And you saw it. It was great.
It wasn't a game-winning touchdown. In fact, it was their only touchdown. In a game they lost. But this touchdown's important because of where it started.
Come on, Falcons, let's get a touchdown here!
On the sideline.
You all right, Bryce?
That's Connor Heiserer. He's the manager of Rockwood Summit's 7th grade football team. He's always ready with water or an encouraging word.
Good job, Matt.
There's no doubt Connor's a part of the team, but what he really wanted was to play.
Good job!
Something that seemed unlikely. Connor was born with a condition called 22q11, a deletion of his 22nd chromosome.
3 kids in 5,000 have what Connor had.
Because of this deletion, Connor also has low muscle tone, struggles with balance, struggles with endurance, and he has to work harder than most kids to learn.
Who do we got in?
But Connor's dedication inspired head coach Rick Younger. So a few nights ago, when the Junior Falcons played the Junior Flyers, Coach Younger made an unannounced roster change.
We are going to sneak Connor in on the first offensive play of the game. Do you understand?
As soon as Coach Younger said that, I was so happy that I finally get to be on the field.
Let's go, Connor!
Let's go, go, go! You better move it! Get up, get up!
He fumbled, but he recovered.
Get up!
And the play that started on the sideline ended in the end zone.
It was really awesome to feel like one of the guys.
Good job, Connor. Way to go.
Good job, Connor.
Old MacDonald may have had a farm on which were several animals. But one thing he didn't have was a couple of schools that bought his vegetables. With that, you got to meet John Kopman. Born and raised on a farm, John started selling produce when he was 12. Now he sells his stuff to local schools.
Rockwood School District started getting stuff from us, and then we branched out to Wentzville, and that's the main two school districts that we do supply.
They call him when they need fresh produce, or he'll call them and tell them what he has.
Comes straight from the farm. He picks it like the day before, so it's very fresh. I like exposing the students to new and different vegetables and fruits.
John unloads the vegetables. They're put in a cooler, and then the stuff ends up here. You know what this is?
Pepper.
Pepper, benefiting both the local farmer and the students.
It's the money staying in your area, and they get fresh produce.
We let them know when we're having farm fresh produce. We'll put nutrition information up as to what nutrients and vitamins they get from it.
And parents?
They love it. I actually have a letter on my bulletin board from a parent from this year.
With a pepper here and a melon there. Steve Harris, EIEIO. It was the Tuesday before Thanksgiving at Parkway West High School in the girls' bathroom when Ashley saw it.
It was just really cool.
Ashlyn saw it too.
I thought it was very sweet for someone to do.
Anybody else?
Jennifer Quinn was actually the first person to see it.
To see that immediately stopped me.
What they saw was this. Dozens of little neon Post-it notes.
And I started to read them, and I got chills.
Each one with a handwritten positive message.
We didn't know who it came from, so like just seeing that was kind of like, whoa, who did that?
Well, these girls and this social worker did that. They call themselves the Girl Group.
We spend a lot of time talking about self-image, building self-esteem, and learning ways to empower others.
Angie pitched the Post-it idea, and the girls of the Girl Group loved it. You see, these girls understand the challenges of being a teenager maybe a little more than most. They're all deaf or hard of hearing.
Well, I encourage girls to think positively in their lives, and when they look in the mirror, and instead of thinking something negative, that should be a positive.
So they wrote stuff like,
no one's perfect.
Be happy, be strong, you are beautiful.
Just be yourself, and don't change who you are.
And word got out.
And it was like kind of reassuring that like people do care about you at this school, and like everyone's here to help each other.
I overheard a conversation. A girl was saying that this really filled her heart.
Eventually the notes came down, but the message stuck.
I think that our words can change people's lives.
That was the hope, that I could teach the girls in my group that they have the power to make a difference in someone else's life. And the fact that now we're learning that maybe it did just really hits me.
Steve Harris, News 4.
I did that.
3-year-old Ethan Riley has a big vocabulary for such a little guy.
So you put nose in track truck?
In fact, he knows one word most kids his age don't.
What did mommy have? A seizure.
Seizure. That's a pretty serious word for a boy who plays with dump trucks. But the reason he knows this is because of his mom, Ashley Rice.
I've had epilepsy since I was 15 years old, and I am 24 now. I've had a lot of seizures.
So on Wednesday, November 18th, Ashley was sitting here. She got up to do the dishes, started to black out, and fell on the floor. But Ashley had Ethan, and she'd prepared him for something like this.
2 months ago, I had a really bad seizure, and I taught him what to do after that because I am a stay-at-home mom, and in case anything happened, I wanted him to know what to do.
So what number did you dial to help Mom?
911.
How'd you learn to do that?
I say 911.
Did Mom teach you?
911, 911, 911.
A number he won't forget.
The lady on the dispatcher said it took like 10 minutes for them to get here, and the dispatcher kept Ethan on the line the whole time, asking him questions and stuff like that.
The next thing she remembered, she was waking up to paramedics. She was treated, and all was well, thanks to Ethan. How old are you?
3.
The little boy who knows his numbers.
I called 911.
Yes, you did.
Steve Harris, News 4. Bedford Falls was never what you'd call a noisy neighborhood until the motorcycles showed up. Lots of motorcycles.
They're on down. They keep coming.
All here to see her. 17-year-old Emily Linneman. Emily lost her dad to leukemia in 2010. 2 years later, she was diagnosed with a bone cancer that cost her left leg.
Excited?
Eventually, it came back in her other leg, her lungs, and now in her hip.
And this one's inoperable. And there's not much they can do about it. So we're praying for a miracle.
And that's the reason this bunch of bikers lined the street. But this crowded cul-de-sac began with a phone call from this woman, Beth Cerami.
She saw my Facebook post about Emily supposed to be, coming up with things for her bucket list.
And I said, would she like to ride a Harley Davidson? Because we have one.
And I said, she's a thrill seeker. I can't see why she wouldn't. And I asked Emily, and she's like, yeah, Mom, of course.
And I invited everybody, and they told friends.
Ready.
So Emily geared up for her first ride on a Harley.
I didn't think I'd be able to because of my foot.
Take your time. They tell me there's only a handful of things that can make a biker cry. This is one of them. Emily led the long line of riders down Highway 40.
And I just turned around and saw that it just kept going and going and going. There were so many people.
To Chesterfield.
How was it?
Awesome.
Where Surdike Motorsports,
Your very own.
gave her a ride of her own.
It makes me feel really happy because I didn't know that many people cared.
She's fighting, and she's got a team of biker family behind her now fighting with her.
In a little dance studio in Belleville
Push the floor away.
are 8 little ballerinas,
Yes.
perfecting their points and pliés.
Straight knees come together.
Each one has a story, but this story is about her. Her name is Isabella Scheibel.
Hand on your shoulder.
She goes by Izzy. She's a very active 9-year-old, but her favorite thing to do,
I love ballet the most.
she's been doing it since the ripe old age of 2.
So.
Like the other girls, she dresses the part. But besides the leotard and ballet shoes, Izzy wears something they don't. Next to her stomach, a continuous glucose monitor. A few months ago, Izzy was diagnosed with type 1 juvenile diabetes.
I just immediately started crying.
I didn't know anything. I just thought it was some kind of disease.
One of the first things I asked when we got to the hospital, will she have to start taking shots? And they said, yes. And I said, is there any way around it? Can we switch something? And they said, no, she is insulin dependent and she will be for the rest of her life. I think the hardest part for us is, especially as being the mommy, I can't fix it.
But she could fight it. On September 26th, the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation is having a walk in St. Charles to raise money to help find a cure. Izzy has her own team, and they'll all be wearing tutus.
Elbow, wrist, fingers.
Ending a story with a quote is always a nice touch. For this story, I'm going to go with the wisdom of a 9-year-old ballerina.
It's hard to live with, but you can live with it.
Even if you're not into racing, this car will touch your heart. Not because of the cool paint job or the decals, but because of who designed it, Aaron Niemeyer. No, not that Aaron Niemeyer. That Aaron Niemeyer. Jr.
It's amazing.
Amazing just how hands-on this 11-year-old boy is.
I changed the oil, I changed the spark plugs and gave it a tune-up. Me and my pit crew over there actually changed the tires, and I drive.
Yeah, you heard that right. He drives. Aaron races on dirt tracks against drivers more than twice his age.
It gets kind of scary sometimes, but other than that, it's really fun.
Well, some kids spend their money on toys or video games. Aaron spends his on car parts.
Yeah, he actually took his birthday money, all the money he got for his birthday, and gave us every penny of it. And he bought all the piping to build the cage.
To understand how important this car is to Aaron, you have to see what's written on the door.
We lost my grandpa to cancer, and I was really close to my grandpa, so we came up with Cancer Hater.
And the roof.
We lost my aunt to breast cancer.
And the wheels.
And then on the rims, we did 5 cancers.
And on the hood, the signature of his great-grandpa, a cancer survivor. It's a moving memorial, raising awareness and paying tribute.
It was my grandpa's dying wish was to see me race. Before we first started actual racing, he passed away. But that's why the hood says living my papa's dream, because it was his dream to see me race.